Welcome everyone to today's webcast, the second in our series, Transparency is the New Green. We're thrilled to have our special guests, Aaron Smith and Kristen Gertz from ViewGlass and Toto, here today to talk to us about how each of their companies, ranging from a Silicon Valley startup to a global plumbing products manufacturer, in fact, the largest global plumbing products manufacturer, talk about their investments in product transparency and their journeys to create higher performing, greener and healthier products, and to bring those products to market and tell that story. We're going to cover exactly what we said we'd cover in the invitation. Each of them will tell their story about a little background about themselves and the company, and again, why they created disclosures, what they learned from them, the challenges in actually improving products and using the rules that exist today to tell the stories about those improvements. And I'm going to start out by talking about why Sustainable Minds is in the business that we're in and what it is we're trying to achieve. And at the highest level, our tagline has been for several years now to turn disclosure into brand value by integrating product transparency into product marketing. So we're going to start by getting an overview of Sustainable Minds and our transparency products. I'm Terry Swack, the CEO and founder of Sustainable Minds. Then Aaron will talk about ViewGlass, Kristen will talk about Toto, and we'll do some Q&A. Questions, I think pretty much everyone has been to a webinar before. Put them in the questions panel. We'll either take them as they come or we'll hold them till the end, depending on where they're most relevant. And if we don't get to them at all, we'll definitely follow up with you to provide answers. So I want to set the stage because we do have a really nice mix of both manufacturers and AEC professionals today on the webcast. Manufacturers face two key problems. They want to credibly make higher performing, greener and healthier products, and they want to be able to market them in the same effective way. And when you look at what's driving that in the marketplace, the cost of natural resources, regulation, risk management, which are market drivers, but then the internal drivers of new product innovation, new customers, and new revenues from new products, and to really stand out, make the brand stand out from other brands. That is a lot of issues to address in making products and marketing products. But in fact, they're the very same drivers that contribute to both. And at the core of it really is brand. How does a manufacturer differentiate? And we believe that product transparency absolutely does help a manufacturer build a credibly greener brand, but not by just producing disclosures. The value for manufacturers to provide environmental information about their products comes from demonstrating they understand what that disclosure data means and that they're doing something with it. From a building professional's perspective, you need consistent, understandable, and meaningful information to inform and drive those purchase decisions. So when a manufacturer provides that kind of information, truth builds that trust builds powerful brands, and powerful brands create preference and value for your companies and ultimately lead to new customers and new revenues. But today, these are really the challenges. Not only can building professionals not easily understand and use disclosures to make decisions, it's really hard for them to find them. They're everywhere. They're in program operators' databases. They're in rating systems databases. They're sometimes on the manufacturer's website. And manufacturers who have been early adopters, as we've moved out of early adoption into early mainstream, they're challenged with how do we leverage those investments, maintain an advantage. Now that we're already in the game, if we're going to do more, how do we make that more efficient? How do we make sure our sales, our partners know how to use this information in that process? And the bottom line is most AEC professionals are going to go to a manufacturer's website to find products. And that's why manufacturers have websites, is to build a relationship with customers there. But the challenge of most websites today for manufacturers is that they were never designed to promote and deliver those products with transparency information. And so as websites evolve, they're really sometimes initially designed, but they evolve to kind of a silo approach. And you can find product information in one place, sustainability information in another place, disclosure information oftentimes in a third place. And sometimes those things aren't even well connected. And so when those users come to a manufacturer's website looking for all the products that manufacturer has with transparency information, today it's not easy because those sites weren't designed to deliver what we call intentional user experiences. For all those reasons, we started developing our transparency products several years ago, and I'm very excited to have Kristen with us today because Toto has been a strategic partner in the development of these products. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, what we learned together and how those learnings drove the development of these products. They are next generation marketing tools that turn disclosure into brand value by integrating product transparency into product marketing. They're expressly designed to inform greener and healthier purchase decisions, combine all that information about products and sustainability and transparency in one place for non-technical readers, and most importantly, provide the value add of integrated explanation and improvement stories that disclosures don't report. They're findable all in one place in a manufacturer's website, and now also in the transparency catalog. We have 3 transparency products: the transparency report, which is our type 3 environmental declaration, also known as an EPD. We called ours a transparency report because it's different. Our material health overview that takes any material ingredient information from any disclosure and integrates it into a marketing tool that tells those stories about what the manufacturer is doing to improve or get the rating that they've achieved in that rating system. And they're all delivered in this brand showroom that integrates with the manufacturer's website. So our transparency reports, unlike other EPDs, are 3 pages. That's it, 3 pages, and everything someone would need to know to make a purchase decision is all on page 1, and they live in the cloud, so these are cloud-based reports. Page 2 and page 3 have the LCA results with interpretation and what the manufacturer is doing to improve and the value in the rating systems. And page 3 is optional, which is where the manufacturer can actually talk about what they're doing in any or all stages of the product's life cycle, contributing to the performance improvement, and actually showing up here potentially in the LCA results. So we're really trying to make that information accessible and understandable. The material health overview can be a standalone report or it can be integrated into the transparency report. Toto has done both so that both types of information is available to building professionals all in one place, and the same information as page 1 of the transparency report tells the product story. On the left side is the technical results of the disclosure, and the right side is the interpretation. What does it mean? How did they get that rating? What are they doing to improve? And what's the value in the rating systems? And we've done a version of that report for each type of material ingredient report that's accepted by the green building rating systems. And our newest transparency product is our performance fact sheet that was designed expressly for early adopters, manufacturers who have done a lot of transparency disclosure, that allows them to link all of their disclosures that they've created for products or product groups all in one place, so that users can find it, click through, get that information, and again, see the value in the rating systems that they can achieve by specifying those products. Again, all of those are available through the manufacturer's brand showroom, which now leads us to the transparency catalog, which we introduced at Greenbuild last year as the only source of products with manufacturers who have products with transparency information. It's the first and it's the only one. We are agnostic to the type of rating system. We provide both environmental and material disclosures, but the idea is to provide the product information alongside the transparency information, because people are looking for products, they're not looking for just disclosures. It's free for anybody to access, there's no login required, and it makes it easy for everyone, including employees and partners, to find, and ultimately designed to create this virtuous cycle of supply and demand, that here are the manufacturers making the best products, being transparent about them, and also providing the opportunity for AECs to suggest to the manufacturers whose brands, whose products they like best, to add them to this catalog, so that it makes it easy for everyone to find that information and to reward those manufacturers for making that investment. We've launched phase 1 of the catalog. Phase 2 is coming next month, where we'll be turning on the filtering. We'll be able to filter by brand, by product category, by rating system, and we will continue to keep it simple and easy to use, and to really just shine the spotlight on the brands and make it easy for people to find brands, find products from all brands in a category, or find products in a category that meet certain rating system requirements. We really only have one type of listing that a manufacturer can purchase, which is our standard listing. When a manufacturer creates transparency products like Toto, they automatically become a featured brand in the catalog, so that information with the explanation gets front and center, so people can start learning about what that brand is doing. This is the standard listing. It allows, in a click, to get to product information on the manufacturer's website, see the types of disclosures they have, click to those disclosures, and also see in a glance those attributes the disclosure is providing. One last note about the catalog before moving into our customer stories. We really want to make the point that there are some very key things that are different about the transparency catalog. One is that all the information that the manufacturer provides is owned by the manufacturer. All the analytics are owned by the manufacturer. We never sell user information or analytics to any third parties. All of the data is provided by the manufacturer or the program operator or the rating system. We never scrape the internet. We never link to disclosures that have not been provided by the manufacturer. This is as transparent, really, as you can get. And what we're trying to do is create something that benefits everybody, this virtuous cycle of the users of the information, the creators of the information, the manufacturers. Everyone benefits, and the green building rating systems benefit, because now actually higher performing, greener buildings will be built if people are specifying products that do have transparency information that demonstrate they are creating higher performing products, which is why we're not only a marketing platform, it's a marketing and education platform. And this webinar series is step one to educating the marketplace, again, manufacturers and AECs, about what it takes to create this information and ultimately how to use it. Last point, we want to just remind folks that green building is really in service to a higher idea, which is protecting the environment. And so a portion of annual proceeds will go to the National Park Foundation so that we all together are really doing our part to preserve and protect the environment. I'm going to invite each of you, after the webinar is over, to go to the catalog, visit the View Dynamic Glass listing. And what I love about the contrast in today's webcast is that View is a new company with one product that has both environmental and material ingredient information. And you can also go to the catalog and look at the Toto listing. Toto has 24 products in 7 categories that you can see the categories that they're in, or you can click and see all the products in a glance. Click to their transparency reports or their material health overviews and get that information all in one place. So I'd like to move on and introduce Aaron. I'm really excited to have Aaron tell his story because it's a great new company where Aaron's challenge and the company's challenge is to tell a new product story along with not only that the product delivers a new set of services and is a higher performing product, but by specifying that product, by definition, you're going to get a higher performing building. Aaron has had a lot of experience in this space, having previously been at Assa Abloy and having created scores of EPDs and HPDs for that company. And so taking his knowledge and investing it in this new company will be very interesting to watch. And his story is great today. He's also the treasurer for the board of the Health Product Declaration and is a member of the Living Future Institute. He's really very well connected in this industry and has a very broad purview. So I'd like to turn it over to Aaron to move it forward and tell your story. Aaron?
All right, thanks so much, Terry. So just a little background on myself. I currently do business development and strategy for our education sector market vertical for View Dynamic Glass. And also, as many of you have worked in startups, know you wear many hats, but I also do sustainability and product transparency for our product offerings. I've been in the construction industry and building product industry for 20 years, but I had been watching View. I knew many of the folks that worked there and was really excited about what they're doing around dynamic glass in the industry and thought that this was really going to change the way that buildings are built while having a positive impact on health and wellness of occupants. I've always been fascinated in net positive built environment, green buildings, renewable energy, and I think that my MBA with a sustainability focus from Yale was another thing that caused me to make a change overall and go to a new industry. So a little bit about the company, and then we can talk about the product, and then we'll talk about transparency and innovation and moving forward. View Dynamic Glass was founded in 2007. The headquarters is out in Silicon Valley, not far from where Tesla's offices are, and our manufacturing is out in Olive Branch, Mississippi. I have to keep updating the slide, but we are now approaching 500 employees in the company. Our product was launched in November 12th November of 2012. And a lot of Silicon Valley experience from the semiconductor, flat panel, and solar PV industries that go into this product. And today we've raised about $560 million in capital from the likes of Madrone Capital Partners, Corning, and General Electric. So very long-term patient capital. I've been in a lot of building product manufacturing companies, but never perhaps one as impressive as the View factory down in Olive Branch, Mississippi. We have the largest inline PVD vertical coater in the world. We have a capability of 5 million square feet of annual capacity. Because this is Internet of Things, we analyze and are able to monitor over 12 million data points on each insulated glazed unit. So very, very precise, clean room environment type of manufacturing, very, very good quality overall. So what does it do? As Terry and I were talking about it, I said this is really Tony Stark's glass for his house in Malibu. The glass is clear when you want it to be, and then tints when you need it. So if you think about this, this is a highly glazed facade on the west side of a building in California. To run HVAC and electricity in this space, coupled with blinds and shades and exterior fins, would have proved expensive over the long run. It would have had a high environmental impact. But there's also a play on the health and wellness side of the overall feeling of the space for the occupant. So that's generally the best case deployment for View dynamic glass, and we'll talk a little bit further about that. So this is another project. This is CenturyLink Technology Center down in Monroe, Louisiana. And what you're seeing is the exterior of a project with the glass in the 4 various tint states. So again, southwest corner of the building, when the sun is not on that facade, the visible light transmittance of the glass allows 60% of visible light into the space and has a solar heat gain coefficient of 0.46. When the sun moves to the west side of the facade in the bottom right portion of the building, the glass blocks 99% of visible light and moves to a solar heat gain coefficient of 0.09. So significantly a different way to design and execute the building based on a new technology. So I want to tell you a little bit about how it works, and maybe we'll look on the right in dynamic glass itself. Many of us are familiar with electrochromics from the rear view mirrors of our cars that automatically change and darken at night. Or if you've flown on the new Boeing 787 Dreamliner, they have replaced blinds in the aircraft with electrochromic glass. They have a interface on the window that allows the user to control that glass. So electrochromics are a 5-layer coating laid down on the surface of flat architectural glass. Those coatings are controlled electronically and allow us to change the tint to user preference throughout the day. The glass can be set up and commissioned with predictive intelligence. So we know the latitude and longitude of the building, we know the date and what the solar incidence angle will be, and when the sun comes up on the east side, the glass is pre-tinted. As it moves around to the south, the east facade would clear and the south facade would tint. We do have a rooftop sensor that looks for cloud cover and will override the glass, but essentially the glass is a set and go feature. We do have the ability through a wall interface or an app on a smartphone or tablet to override control of the glass. So if I have a PowerPoint presentation like we're doing right now, I can actually pull up my View Glass app on my phone and darken the glass for a period of time. After the override period, it will go back to the normally scheduled operation. We also have the ability to tie into the building management system. And this gets pretty exciting in the ability for the BMS to operate the glass, the lighting, the HVAC system, all in harmony, and in some cases block thermal energy from the space. In other cases, harvest as much daylight as possible, or in the wintertime, perhaps allow passive solar heating into the building. So the intelligent control also, through occupant voting, can learn, and we can push programming to the glass to change the tint to what is most desired. So this really addresses three megatrends, and this is why I was excited about the company. Obviously, the ability to have smart and connected Internet of Things glass on the building gives a lot of optionality to end users for how they can utilize spaces. I think that the sustainability and energy efficiency message, depending on the configuration and the building typology, we can often save up to 20% in energy. We can help with sustainability around daylight and views and thermal control of spaces. But I think the real place where it becomes interesting is how do we design buildings for occupants? And if we can increase the comfort, the wellness, and the productivity of the building occupant, that's the largest impact that we'll have on the space. So many of our clients, there's a lot in Silicon Valley that are looking at this product being able to really improve comfort, wellness, and productivity within that space overall. So that's maybe a different way of measuring, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the challenges with that. But when you look at health and wellness of an actual installation, this is some data from a View Hospital study that we did along with Bill Browning, and looking at biophilic design and the effects of natural light on building occupants. But the ability for 5-degree cooler rooms on warm days, a 53% increase in occupant access to daylight and views. And I think many of you, now I drive around and look at buildings and I see the blinds drawn all the time. But this is a way for the blinds never to be drawn and us to allow that natural daylight into the space for occupants. A 73% decrease in heat and glare complaints, and 100% of respondents reported no glare issues. So some pretty significant health and wellness impacts as well. Now, on the materials transparency side, we just recently completed our environmental product declaration. We had previously completed our health product declaration, and we've completed a declare label. But being a new company, it was really key for us to have a partner like Sustainable Minds, where we could have, because people don't always know about dynamic glass. So for us to be part of a bigger platform like Sustainable Minds is really key, a place where customers can find the product and we can tell our story to AEC customers who are interested in transparency and sustainability of manufacturers. So let me talk a little bit about the process for us. Again, we're a brand new company. We have one product. The HPD and declare label were fairly straightforward. But I'll talk a little bit about the environmental product declaration. So we based our product category rules on the Ghana PCR, and one of the challenges with that product category rule was that it was set up as a cradle-to-gate product category rule. And I think in the traditional glass industry, that's probably fine because the glass is inert in the cradle-to-cradle side of things. But in the case of electrochromic glass, there's really a lot of benefits in the use stage that aren't necessarily captured in the product category rule. So that was really a key learning that we had. As we moved in, and Sustainable Solutions was our partner for completing our life cycle assessment, but we were able to learn a lot about our overall impacts. And I think that the big lesson, and it's probably a fairly obvious one to those of you on the phone, is that most of our impact comes from upstream float glass manufacturing. So we buy float glass, we then add our coating to that float glass and manufacture an IGU. But the majority of our impact comes from upstream, the float glass raw materials, transportation, and manufacturing. So we don't necessarily have control over that case, but I think as environmental product declarations come out, we'll have the ability to analyze our supply chain and choose more environmentally preferable suppliers based on our needs. In our own manufacturing facility, we did find that actually quite a few energy efficiency savings opportunities by going through the EPD process, as well as some water savings opportunities, and we are implementing those. The final step for us was to issue our environmental product declaration, and we used UL as our third-party program certifier. So we now have a complete View Glass environmental product declaration, scope 3, that is available in the marketplace. And the next step I did was to join with Sustainable Minds to publish those in a more accessible database with other like-minded manufacturers. So that's really a quick overview of key learnings and insights. And what I want to take you to is improvements and innovation. So if you look at the chart at the top, I've kind of drawn a line around the cradle to gate scope of our life cycle analysis. So we were able to look at our manufacturing site and our upstream supply chain and have a good understanding of that through our EPD and HPD. We're able to have preference in our upstream supply chain. We're able to control our manufacturing site. But the real key for our product innovation and engineering teams and our factory teams is to look at what is our downstream user impact, because that's where we believe the life cycle impact of our product can happen. So it says cradle to grave here. I like to call it cradle to cradle. But what we've done is joined with the Living Product 50 with the International Living Future Institute. And this is a collaboration of the world's leading manufacturers that are creating and building demand for living products. And we are undergoing a charrette with our product innovation and manufacturing and engineering teams to look at how do we make sure our plant and processes are the best that we can be, that the next plant we build is optimized toward living products, and that we are telling our story about the downstream user impacts in a way that's tangible and beneficial to our clients. So that's kind of the improvements and innovation that we're undertaking at this time. And when I think about transparency as a product selection filter, because we're a new product and a startup, it's not like we can compare an EPD apples to apples. But what gets me excited about it is I think if we look at the installation on the left that has low E glass, we have automatic shades, we have a light shelf, we have an exterior fin on that building, all to try to control heat and glare and harvest as much daylight as possible. And I think that the value comes from looking at the aggregate environmental impact and cost of the implementation on the left versus the right with View Glass, where it's as simple as replacing or installing a View Glass IGU. It's controlled with an app, and the overall environmental impact and cost can be less. But I think when we look at the additional operating expense savings, the health and wellness impacts, and the much more elegant creation of a better built environment for occupants, that's where the real value falls. And I'm really excited as we continue to tell our story with Sustainable Minds.
Well, thank you, Aaron. That's fascinating. I'm fascinated by this product, quite honestly, and I think that the most impactful wrap up that you did was to show side by side, to get the same functional performance to create a healthy, shaded, uh, heat managed, efficient environment. On the left, there's 3, 4, 5 products that had to be
Right.
purchased and installed and maintained in lieu of now, one really elegant solution um, that over the life cycle of the building, if you look at operations and impacts, one could do the back of envelope math, but the impacts dramatically reduced and deliver a beautiful, high performing building. So thank you for that, and we will definitely keep our eye on you and you glass.
Thanks, Terry.
So let me introduce Kristen Gertz, and Kristen is going to do her own introduction. And all I'm going to say is we've been working with Kristen here at Sustainable Minds for a good 4 years, and you'll be surprised when you see her title as quality assurance. Kristen has been the one who has really been the hands-on product transparency person since day one, since Toto said, "Let's go." And so, without further ado, I'm going to let Kristen tell her story.
Thank you, Terry. So, as Aaron said, when you're with a startup company, you have to wear many hats, and sometimes it's true for larger corporations as well. Because I've been working as an associate quality engineer, but also, started working on Toto USA's transparency report and declare program. So, today I want to talk to you about the lessons that we've learned from transparency and how we incorporate them into product development. So a little more about my background. I began working as the project manager for the Transparency Report and Declare program in 2012. And I was selected for this work because of the close working relationship that I had formed with our suppliers and with our engineering team while working in quality assurance. The work has been challenging and rewarding and very instrumental in my professional growth. I've enjoyed it because I'm able to witness change and innovation that comes about as a direct result of the work that's been accomplished. And it's also very exciting for me to work with our customers on projects and help them to become successful. Toto USA was established in California in 1989 as a subsidiary of the global company Toto Limited in Japan. We offer a complete line of bathroom fixtures for the commercial and residential space. We're most known for our innovations in sanitary ware, so we're very popular for selling toilets and urinals and lavatory sinks. Our marquee product line in more recent years has been the Nearest and Washlet line of bidet seats. And in the commercial space, we're well known for our EcoPower line of faucets and flush valves, which operate with power that's generated by the force of the running water that flows through them. Toto USA has always been involved in sustainable practice from inception. Environmental stewardship was one of Toto Limited in Japan's founding missions, so that culture of sustainability has transferred over. This is something that Toto USA has embraced. We've been very proactive with it, and we have chosen to be an industry leader here in the U.S. So as part of those efforts, Toto USA has created 18 Type 3 environmental product declarations using the Sustainable Minds Transparency Report platform. These 18 EPDs fall within 6 different product groups. They are residential toilets, commercial urinals, lavatory sinks, commercial flush valves, and commercial faucets. We've also conducted material health assessments for 24 of our products, also within those 6 product groups that I just mentioned. The Declare label serves as the ingredient reporting, and with the help of Sustainable Minds, we also created material health overviews for those products to help the customer understand the information that's presented on the Declare label. So I want to talk to you about why Toto has chosen to go down this road of transparency and what it has done for us within Toto USA. just a little bit of background. For the last few decades, much emphasis within the plumbing industry has been placed upon developing high-efficiency products that save water. So with the EPACT of 1992, WaterSense in 2006, and California drought in recent years, Toto has always been at the forefront as the trailblazer in North America for water savings. Reducing impacts in the use phase due to water savings has great effects towards the overall life cycle in terms of environmental performance, but eventually this reduction in water use will succumb to physics, and there's a point of diminishing returns where the product is no longer going to properly function with a continued decrease in water. So we've made great strides over the last few decades, but what's next? How do we, as a toilet company, continue to improve our products and innovate? So one thing we can do is begin to focus on other aspects of the life cycle if our use phase is tapped out. As Aaron said earlier, the greatest impacts to the life cycle are the production stage, and for us it's the use phase. So if we've done all we can for the use phase, the best place to look is in the production phase. And we can improve the environmental performance by reducing embedded environmental impacts during production. So at Toto USA, we're constantly looking for ways to reduce, reuse, recycle, and make the process of toilet manufacturing more efficient. So just a few examples I want to talk about. One thing that we're very proud of is our partnership with Georgia Power. We're located just south of Atlanta, and we've supported Georgia Power's green energy program, purchasing blocks of green energy in efforts to offset the emissions generated by our facility. We've recently made the switch to their solar power program so that we can now support the ongoing efforts by Georgia Power to increase solar energy production infrastructure in Georgia. We've also partnered with Crossville Tile. They use all of our defective ceramic product, and we're able to prevent 3,480 tons per year of unused ceramic from going into the landfill. Our partnership with Pine Hall Brick prevents 1,680 tons of clay from going into landfill. This is clay that doesn't make it into our final product. And there's many other examples of things that we do in our plant, and this is the story that we want to tell our customers, and this is why we have elected to publish the environmental product declarations. And along with those environmental product declarations, we also choose to improve and attempt to mitigate impacts of production by taking a deeper look into the materials used for the product itself. We chose Declare as a starting point in our efforts to improve material health. And this is where it got very interesting for me, because I thought it would be a somewhat simple task to offer a living building challenge redless-free product, because we were already well on the way. But when you really dive in and start investigating your product and reaching out to vendors, you start to find these little surprises and hurdles that you have to work through. So just an example, while trying to help a living building challenge customer with a residential style toilet, I recommended one of our 1G toilets because we had previously removed the PVC flapper. And I thought this would be simple, but creating the disclosure requires deeper investigation, and the rigor associated with the vetting process can bring to light things you had overlooked. The toilet flapper was an obvious part that we knew we needed to change, and we did, but what we did not know was that there was a small piece of PVC that's used in the seat that comes with that unit. And the design of this seat predates our current engineering team, so this PVC piece was not like a glaring obvious piece that we knew about. We didn't realize it was there lurking in the product. So we're now working towards removing that piece of PVC in our next redesign, and had we not gone through the process of creating the Declare label, this piece would remain in the BOM. So that's just an example of one key learning that I was able to take away from my experience, is that those small changes over time do lead to larger impact. And we like to say that there's not one silver bullet, but there's silver buckshot. So each event and each change is just one more step for greater outcome. And something else I learned is that The culture of sustainability has to be nurtured. There's different levels of comfort when it comes to sharing information between partnerships, but those business relationships are really important and can go a long way in helping or hindering the process. Product health is a new megatrend, and we're only just beginning to learn about some of the problems associated with certain materials. So now it seems like a struggle to remove the harmful materials, but as we move forward, we can then begin easily prevent the harmful materials from being used in the product on the front end, instead of working backwards now to remove it like we're doing now. And this is accomplished by incorporating material review into product development. So in doing that, it is very important that the right relationships are present with your suppliers, because obtaining that information from them is difficult. Sometimes removing those red list materials is difficult, and it's very critical that you are able to rely on your business relationships to move forward together. Another challenge is that sometimes alternate materials are not always the best option. No one wants to sacrifice quality. So one example for us has been hexavalent chrome. It's highly desirable because it's beautiful luster, resistance to corrosion, and unfortunately it's a red list material and a known human carcinogen, although we believe it's inert in its final form. The alternative material to trichrome is, the alternative material to hexavalent chrome is trivalent chrome, which unfortunately lacks the luster and the beauty. It has a somewhat dull, pewtery look that's just not as desirable as the hexavalent chrome. So this is an example of a challenge where hopefully those solid business relationships can help us to find a solution. We were conducting assessments before we were creating disclosures, but creating the disclosures provides the added rigor to uncover hidden problem areas, such as the PVC that I just mentioned. They do other things as well. They can help you to validate the performance that you already believed that you were doing. I had an experience in which International Living Future Institute requested that I vet all raw materials that go into a proprietary material, and that was pretty scary, but it came out clean in terms of red list materials. So disclosures definitely provide insight into your current product and into further improvement. So I already gave you the example of the hidden PVC in our seat, but another example I have is lead anchors that we were using in undercounter lavatories. It wasn't a hidden material, but doing the disclosure helped us to see the impacts of lead and kind of made us question why we're including lead in every single unit sold when we knew only a percentage would be used and the remainder possibly thrown in a landfill. So we decided to remove it and let the customer decide if it's necessary. So doing that, we are able to reduce the impacts associated with the production and with the end of life of that material. And it may not seem like much when you look at this graph, but again, there's no silver buckshot or no silver bullet. There's only silver buckshot. So Total USA plans to continue improvements and innovations through our business relationships, and hopefully being able to tackle those tough spots like PVC and hexavalent chrome. We plan to operationalize the conducting of LCAs and material ingredients investigations. And what I mean by this is that during the overall product development from idea to launch, somewhere embedded in that process will be some level of investigation with the goal of improving environmental performance. So why look for transparency information? I'd like to challenge everyone to invest in companies that have an interest in improving products. The inherent benefits are that purchasing from a company because they're working towards environmental and health performance means that they'll be rewarded and they will continue to improve. And understand that efforts require a lot of time. Don't write off a product because it's not a perfect product. Look for continuous improvement. A disclosure may still indicate areas of concern. However, the fact that the disclosure exists at all indicates that a company is making efforts to understand and improve their product. So choosing that product over one without a disclosure rewards the company for the effort. If the market is truly demanding that innovations in environmental performance and product health take place, then the market needs to vote with their dollars. And companies need to know that you appreciate the work they've done. So let them know when you spec a product because of a transparency document, reach out and thank them. And just letting them know is how we can be rewarded for our efforts and truly move forward. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Kristen. A segue from that, and because we've been working with Toto for so long, for the AECs in the webinar today, the amount of work that each of these manufacturers has put in to really analyze what's in their products and how they make them across the life cycle is a considerable amount of work, and they are learning and putting that information to work, as well as just being transparent. And we've been asked, why are you creating a catalog of manufacturers, but only their products with transparency information, not all their products, just the products with transparency information? And what we believe, and why I had people talk about it on the previous slide, is that transparency is the best possible filter, because what we've learned from working with manufacturers is that because it's a big learning curve, takes time, and is expensive, they're only going to choose to create disclosures for either their very best products that are their best sellers, which means people love them, or they are actually the products that they've improved and have better environmental performance or material health, or they just have nothing to hide and therefore want to be transparent and have stepped up to do so. So applying the product transparency filter to the world of products from the world of manufacturers in every category kind of makes it easier to get access to the best set of products available. And almost all the products, and I can't say that there isn't an exception, but if a manufacturer is going to invest in product transparency, it means that that product most likely has all of the other green certificates or health certificates that are available for that product in that category. And we share all that information in our transparency products as well. What we really want to do is just accelerate the adoption of product transparency and create the best possible marketplace for manufacturers, AECs, and the green building rating systems, so that ultimately higher performing, healthier buildings actually do get built. The transparency catalog is new. We only introduced it in November. We've gotten pretty good traction, I think, in a short amount of time. We've had over 1,000 unique users visit the catalog since it was introduced. And we continue to build partnerships. We'll continue to invest in other types of media relations to create awareness, to get folks here to the catalog and build partnerships. But at the end of the day, our group of transparency products, our transparency products family, were created for manufacturers who, first of all, believe that better marketing helps sales. That's first and foremost. If you're going to invest in marketing tools, they should help sales, and there should be a measurable outcome. That they actually care about the AEC professional who is working to build higher performing buildings, and they want to sell to that type of customer. Transparency products are really for manufacturers who care about leadership, innovation, and design. And both companies, as you can see here, really demonstrate that both in their products and in their brand. And I think you'll see that as more and more brands build out their listings, they all have these characteristics of leadership, innovation, design. They are thinking holistically and longer term, and I love that Aaron showed that innovation map looking at the whole life cycle. They are actually making greener and healthier products and striving to continuously improve and want to be able to provide that information in a useful and understandable way. And we are unique. Sustainable Minds is unique in the marketplace for having that perspective and creating products and services to promote that position. So we invite all of you to visit the Transparency Catalog, look at all the brands that are there. For the brands who've not yet created standard listings or are not featured brands, you can let them know through their own free listing that they have a free listing and that they'll benefit from putting their products there. You can connect us right through that listing, because it's about creating this virtuous cycle of supply and demand in a carrot kind of way. You know, we're not threatening, we're not part of a system that threatens, no, we're not going to buy your products if you don't produce this information. It's more like, hey, if you produce this information, more people are going to buy your products and you're going to be able to get them in front of people who care. And so we've created the utility to make that happen. Next week, we have another webinar coming up to talk more about our new partnership with the Collaborative for High Performance Schools. We're really excited to be partnering with them and working with them towards their mission of building higher performing, healthier schools and getting these products in front of those types of customers. And our special manufacturing guest next week will be from eCore International, who has been a longtime member both of CHIPS and a new manufacturer whose products are going into the Transparency Catalog, and will be able to speak to both organizations. It looks like the questions that got submitted also got answered, but I invite you on your way out of the webinar to take a moment and give us some feedback on this webinar. And if you have any questions that we didn't answer or you'd like to leave behind, please do that. And we promise to follow up with you. So thank you for all of you for taking time out of your very busy days to spend some time with Aaron, Kristen, and me, Terry. And we look forward to connecting with you soon. Have a great day.